And now, I no longer have the slightest doubt as to the name of the establishment. Hey, wait a minute. I've seen this place before. I've been here. I recognize this rooftop, those trees, the park, the statue. Tomorrow comes today. Of course, the photo from the poster. It was shot from someplace in this very building. But what's the meaning of all this? And could it be that the voice wasn't actually trying to lead me to that burned out bookstore down there, but rather to this building? To this place?
The rest of the staff refuses to share the facilities with them, so their lockers are out in the hallway.
The blades of this contraption must have stopped turning months ago, and I don't think doing without it is the owner's biggest problem right now. Let's not waste time on this contraption. I'm afraid that it's just one more corpse in the city. From what I heard, all telecommunications collapsed in the catastrophe. It seems like it took the Great Wave only a few seconds to turn all of our technology into scrap metal, vanquished and useless. Nevertheless, these antennas stand up with dignity against the sky. It's an amusing vision.
That's where they keep everything they need for their hunting expeditions. The GPSs, the disease detection tests, their ID badges.
But that type of amusement eats away at the pit of your stomach. They're too high. I'm not going to be able to reach all the way up there. It's an empty, rusty bucket, part of all this junk left behind. So this is the gleam of metal that seems so interesting from down there? What a disappointment. A cleaning bucket, empty and dented. Nothing else remarkable about it, except that unlike most of the abandoned junk in this city, it still works. It's almost comical. I'm holding onto a cleaning bucket in the middle of the apocalypse. If I try to steal the generator by hiding it under the bucket, those thugs will figure it out right away.
Each unit is made up of 2 soldiers, 1 doctor, and 1 nurse.
Clean this? I have a cleaning bucket, but I'm not a miracle worker. Besides, the bucket is empty. I'm not going to do that. I can't think of a more useless object than a bucket with a hole in it. Hey, that's right. Maybe through the tin bucket, this music would sound a little bit better. But I'd rather not touch that loudspeaker in front of the hunter. Why? I don't want to load the bucket with stuff that isn't going to be useful to me. No, I'd only end up dragging a bucket full of the mole's blood around here. And the soldiers' questions when they saw me with it would be uncomfortable, to say the least. Besides, it's empty. Okay, I'll use the bucket for what it was designed for, to be filled with water.
Doctors and nurses collaborating with those bloodthirsty animals?
Why? I'm not going to load the bucket with stuff that isn't going to be useful to me. These waters carry the output from all the drains in Doomsday City. They're of no interest to me. It wouldn't make much sense to take all that garbage with me. I'm not going to get rid of it. I might need this bucket later on. I don't see any reason why I'd want to put this inside the bucket. Awesome. So now I have a bucket full of dirty water. Oh, it's clear that things are getting better by the minute. Yep, it's that bucket full of stinking water that I'm dragging around with me everywhere I go. No, if I empty this bucket, then I'll want to empty another, and then another.
But then they say, what do you want? It's our job, and somebody's got to do it.
Until I manage to fill up the fountain. And that's something that won't do me any good. So I'd better stop now. The water would only ruin the machine. And at the moment, I'm not interested in doing that. It's not that I don't care to do it, but leaving them to soak could only cause me problems. The water would only damage the machine even more. And at the moment, I'm not interested in doing that. It would trash the loudspeaker and that tiresome music with it, but the problem is that the hunter would trash me. The cable is well insulated. Throwing water on it wouldn't serve any purpose. Let me be clear. I'm not about to soak those poor kids with the contents of this bucket. That would be useless. The evidence of those murders won't disappear with a little water. Yes, that phrase sounds familiar. Here goes. Maybe we can still salvage something from the fire. Now that the fire is out, I don't intend to carry this rusty bucket around anymore. I'll get rid of it. The fire is out. I'm not going to waste any more water on this. I could put out the fire, but those drums are the only source of heat for the people living here. No matter how hard I try, I'll never be able to revive that man up there on that cross. Okay, I'll empty it again. Although I don't quite understand why I'm doing this. I think I'm too late. The fire went out some time ago, but not before consuming this entire landscape. Throwing water on an electrified surface doesn't sound like such a great idea. Unless I want to get electrocuted. No way. That's too sick a prank to play on those poor dying people down there.
If you can find a way out of this hellhole, that is. And I can't help you with that.
It's bone-chilling. Police and criminals using exactly the same words to justify their actions. I think I'm too late. The fire consumed all of this some time ago. Emptying the bucket in the sewage water won't have any effect, except to make it necessary to fill it up again later, if I need it. Attempt to resuscitate her? What for? It's clear that poor Sarah is dead. The water would only ruin it. And at the moment, I'm not interested in doing that. There's no time for such nonsense. I'd only make this person mad. Why would I want to get this wet? What would be the purpose of getting that wet? I can't really see the point, to tell the truth. It's a sculpture for my poster. Maybe it was an allegory of happy fatherhood. You gotta do what you gotta do.